adding last minute touches to my painting. One I did plein air in Poland, and the other I did a smaller version, which is on a small 6x6 canvas. I'm just working on that one now. So I'm adding the finishing highlights here. And this is the hardest part for me. I brought a lot of those gray strokes down into the water. If you look really close, you can see. Now I'm bringing those grays back into the upper part of the building just a little bit, just so there's some relationship to the color in the boats. And I'm also using a small round brush. And I want to pick up some green, some permanent green and Hansa yellow, a tiny bit of white, and a spot of Mars black. I just want to do these edges here. There's a little light of coming on the edge of the bush from the side view. I'm going to make that a little lighter. And then what I do is I take a little bit of ivory black and yellow and just go over those edges a little bit. So you see some of them coming through, not all of them, little bits of light. See how that's achieved? I'm going to bring this tree, build a little tree here. It's in the back. Take a little phthalo green and some black. Bring that in here. This is, my favorite part is filling in these trees. But I really have to pay attention to the light and where it's falling. You see how that gradually changes. We have this light spot here. I kind of want to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do, just go back over it. You can see that light spot now, but it's not that apparent. It's really helpful when I look through my paintings also, through a mirror, or through taking pictures with the camera, because I always change things. Yeah. Okay. So I put some of this green down here. I'm going to bring a little bit more, especially along the edges. And then I'm going to mix a little bit of umber, and some tea white, and some sienna, and some Hansa yellow. I'm going to build up these sides here. Some green in there, permanent green. And I like to pull this color all the way across the canvas. There are a lot of browns in there. But I made it a little bit opaque with the whites, pulling those colors across. I'll show you what I mean. When I paint and I do reflections, I like pulling all of those colors. Put this down. As you can see in the leaves, in the bottom part of these, you go close, in the boats. So now I'm going to bring some of these colors down because I want to work a little bit more, bringing that light into the water. And that's a color. I kind of made this pink with crimson and a tea white. Added a little apple to it to brighten it up. And then I added some sienna. And then some yellow. And now my tea white. And, I don't want it to be too bright. I want to bring some of this a little bit, tiny bits of it. Try to angle the paintbrush here a little. I'm going to bring little bits of that in here. Although it's very subtle, it does make a difference of how that light is brought down here. Just little bits of it, reflecting from the boat. We don't have to have a major boat detail here. Just need a little bit of it. Just bringing that light out a little bit. Then I'm going to go back with a little bit of green. And I have green and yellow. What I'm going to do is wash on top because I want to keep that transparency. But I'm going to put it like that, and then I'm going to move it with my hands so it just moves naturally across. Gives it that really nice feeling of the water has a little bit of movement in here. We really need that going on. I want to pump it up. And I do these washes on top of each other so we can just get that movement going again. The bottom here. Bring some light, from the top. It really balances the painting a little bit. Bring some light in here. A little bit up here. Just on the corner of these trees. You can see how that changes a little bit. And we do have some shadows. I put some shadows here, but I'm going to put a little bit more shadow here. And I am going to use a soft ivory black. I'm going to add a little yellow to it. Just a little bit. Bring some of that. We don't want to make that shadow too dark. Right? But we do want a little contrast there for that area of the boat. I'm going to put some more greens in there. More highlights. And then what I do is when I was painting these kind of like little umbrellas here, I add a little gray. So I do, in this situation, I do use a Mars Black. It's a little stronger. But I really want those grays, want those edges to pop. And then I go back and I polish them off with a little bit of umber brown. That seems to work really well. Because I want those, I want those shadows to come out, but it's still a sunny day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here because this is like a wall and my eye is going here with that dark stroke I just put now. So I'm going to take some phthalo green. And I'm just in a little bit of white. I'm going to dab that out. So I have a little bit of contrast here. We can darken that up. A little bit of black. Not that much. I'm going to go back with some phthalo green and brighten these greens along the corner just a little bit, just to make them pop, because, you know, why not? To get a little contrast in there. I know it's not totally a tree color, but when I layer it, you see what I'm doing on top of these other greens. And what I had here is I have a combination of a permanent green mixed with a little bit of yellow, so it makes it very bright, and I can just layer that on top. And so I'm getting a little bit rid of that phthalo, but you see a little bit of it, underneath there. Okay, because it is a summer day. We want those greens to pop. We still want them to be realistic. You could add a blue there if you want, or a purple to darken it a little bit. You could go with a natural, beautiful ivory black here. Mix it with a little bit of yellow. Just do these light kind of washes on top, just where you see the shadows coming through. Like, again, it's a spring day. We don't want to make the painting too dark. Um, the light often changes when I paint plein air. It's the first thing I have to chase, the light and the shadows. So that's why, I did one there, and then I just come back and I have the freedom of doing another one in the studio, but changing it up a little. I can play with those lights and those shadows and say, I want to put another tree here, or I want to make this a little brighter. But sometimes I can't. I can do that on location. But I have more tools here, also in the studio, to change that up a little bit. And it really changes the whole mood of the painting. Sometimes you can paint the same exact thing, and you can totally change the mood by just changing the color. Right? We've done that before in class. I had students do that. And you can see I'm putting back these colors on top. You can blot it with your hand. That's my tree secret there. I would get these areas going on. So I'm going to work more on these trees and see you back soon. Ciao.